Last week, we revisited the groundbreaking Hawthorne studies of the 1930s, led by Elton Mayo. These studies revealed something profound, that people at work are not only influenced by pay or physical conditions, but also by the attention they receive. As Mayo wrote in The Human Problems of an Industrial Civilization, what was important was not the physical conditions, but the human sentiment and the sense of being observed. That quote came to mind recently, during a meeting with the HR head of a fast-scaling company. She confided, "Heena, we're offering bonuses, flexible hours, and public recognition, but people still seem disconnected." That moment took me back to a fundamental question we often ask in HR: what really drives people at work? Not just what gets them to clock in, but what makes them care, contribute, and stay. That question lies at the heart of what we call motivation theory, a field in organizational psychology that tries to explain why people behave the way they do at work. These theories generally fall into two categories: content theories and process theories. In this first part, we'll explore content theories, those that try to understand the internal needs that drive motivation. It all began in 1943 with Abraham Maslow, who introduced the hierarchy of needs. He suggested that human motivation progresses through 5 stages. First are physiological needs, like food, rest, and pay. Once these are met, people seek safety through job security and stability. Then comes the need for belonging, friendships, team bonds, and workplace community. Next is esteem, recognition, appreciation, and respect. Finally, at the top, is self-actualization, where people seek purpose, creativity, and personal growth. This model deeply influenced HR. Many companies, like Infosys, designed career growth paths that aligned with Maslow's hierarchy, leading to better engagement and retention. But in practice, motivation doesn't always follow a clean upward path. During times of stress or uncertainty, even high-performing employees can revert to needing safety or connection. Then in 1959, Frederick Herzberg proposed the two-factor theory. He introduced 2 sets of factors: hygiene factors and motivators. Hygiene factors prevent dissatisfaction but don't necessarily inspire motivation. Motivators, such as recognition, achievement, and personal growth, are what actually drive people to feel fulfilled in their work. This theory helped HR leaders understand why surface-level benefits alone don't create loyalty or passion. However, personal preferences vary, and what motivates one employee might be irrelevant to another. In 1961, David McClelland introduced his theory of needs, which focused on 3 internal drivers: the need for achievement, power, and affiliation. Each person tends to be guided more strongly by one of these, shaping how they work and lead. For instance, someone driven by achievement will seek challenging goals, while those with a high need for affiliation thrive in teamwork and relationship building. This theory has been used in leadership development programs. Tata Stars is a notable example, aligning individual motivation with role design. Yet, this model can sometimes box people into rigid categories, overlooking how motivation can shift over time. Later in 1969, Clayton Alderfer refined Maslow's hierarchy into 3 more flexible categories: existence, relatedness, and growth, known as the ERG theory. He emphasized that people don't always move through needs in order. If a higher need like personal growth is blocked, they may fall back to seeking social connection or even basic stability. This theory is particularly useful during times of change, like organizational restructuring or mergers, when people's needs may suddenly shift. Still, while it's adaptable, ERG is often viewed more as a supportive model than a central strategic tool. So what truly drives us? It may begin with a paycheck, but it never ends there. Maslow helped us see motivation in layers. Herzberg showed that satisfaction and dissatisfaction are not the same. McClelland gave us insight into personal drivers. And Alderfer reminded us that human needs are flexible and ever-changing. But all these models focus on what people want. The next step is understanding how they decide to act on those wants. In our next episode, we'll explore process theories of motivation, the logic behind effort, decision-making, and commitment. We'll also look at how Spotify used self-determination theory to reshape its organizational culture from the inside out. Like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned with Heena Rai on Behind the HR Cubicle.